Beginning Yi 2.0, Part 8 of 15, Adding Extensions. What we're going to do today is select some extensions from Packages and use Composer to install the extension. Then we're going to edit our backend forms to use the new extension. A date control extension. Cardic V Yi2 widgets extension provides several helpers, including a date control that will display a date, time, or date time in one format and save the date, time, or date time in another format. And this is quite useful for us since we want to be able to enter a date in a normal type of form like 06/18/2012 and have it save it as a Unix timestamp. This way we'll be able to bring our soft delete back into the form and use the date control extension to allow us to do that. So what you'll do is you'll run the following from the command line. You'll run Composer, require Cardic-V, hack Yi2-widgets, devmaster in quotes. Okay, and that will, now you do that from your command line, or you can go out to, well, we'll take a look at that. We'll go out to look at Packages and take a look at what they've got there. So it's not a whole lot, but it's real convenient and a good example of how to install extensions to your site and how to use them and getting the correct configuration going. Remember, you can get all this at github.com, tskmatrix, ycom, and we're working in branch 8.0. All right, so what we've done is we've come over to packages.org and we did a search for Cardic-V Yi2. And what pops up is this first one right here. It's been downloaded 22,943 times. It's a great collection of useful widgets. So let's take a look at that. All you have to do is run this or add this to your requirements. It requires the Yi2 bootstrap, which we have. It requires star rating, file input, and drop down as well. It'll load those for us. So that's real nice. You come over here to the tree, to our source over here, and it'll give us even more information. How to install it, additional widgets that come with it. You get a date range also, which is nice. Active form field, multi-selects. It's great. So you have quite a bit of stuff that you get in here. You get your date picker, which we're going to be using. Or actually we'll be using all of these, date time picker, all that stuff. So it'll tell us how to use it and what we need to do to put it in there, and it'll download all of that for us. So here's how you call it. And this is pretty interesting. So remember, just go ahead and run that require from your Composer command line. So it'd be Composer require Cardic-V or hack Yi2-widgets and then devmaster. It's real simple to do. So let's take a look at how that worked. All right, so over here in our vendors, we have Cardic-V, and it's loaded up all of these helpers and file input, bootstrap file input, bootstrap star rating, a dependent drop down, a date formatter. That's the PHP date formatter. That's it's going to do that for us. A strength meter for our passwords, and our date control here. This is what we're going to be using as our date control. Okay, and what we had, all we had to do is follow this. Come up in here. There we go. Our date control. It allows controlling date formats of attributes separately for view and model for eFramework 2.0. So what we want to do, it has some demos if you want to go find the demo and take a look at it. So in the module, you have modules. It's created as a module to enable access to global settings. So what we want to do is we want to have our modules here, and we have a date control, and it does all this for us here. This is just a different type of thing. You can comment all this out right here in any other settings from here to here. And then you have our parameters, configuration, and then you have how to use the date control. So we have our form field. So we're going to use a widget date control and the class name. And our display format is one way. Our type is we're going to format a date time. And then we're going to use some AJAX to, there is another little control that we have to throw on there that does the actual change for us. Okay, so that's the README file. Let's take a look at how that's all set up in our common parameters here. Okay, so we just have our date control here, and we're using a Unix timestamp. So it'll format our saves as Unix timestamps for us because we're using an integer for to save our dates. Using a Unix timestamp for that. Okay. It says here I've changed this up a little bit. Let's see. Okay. So here are the modules, so we could change that module up and have that in there. Okay. Let's take a look at how we have our, let's see if I did that over here as well. Yeah, I did it over here as well, just in case. And then we have basically the same thing where we have modules over here. But we don't need to worry about that. Okay. All right. So what we do is we come down to our views, and let's go ahead and go to our user, because I think that's where I did most of the work the other day. And we'll bring up our form. Notice right here we're using the date control in our use line here, so that when we come down to our drop down list, or excuse me, to our date list, for instance our birthday, right here on line 77 there's a birthday. We've set this up to use Bootstrap. So here's our widget date control class name, and it has an array, and we're using AJAX conversion to be true, so that when we come into our form, it actually does that for us. So let's go to our users. Let's do an update of demo because I don't think I have anything in there. So here's our, he's a user type. Remember we did drop downs last time. So he's a user type. And his username is demo, his auth key and his password hash. He has no reset token. Here's his email. His preferred name is demo, or her preferred name is demo, because she's female. But here we have a, this is our date time picker, our date picker. So we have, we click in here and we get a date time in here. So let's say this young woman was born in February of on the 6th, or let's make it 06, makes it easy for us, and that would be 20, well, let's make her 1994. Okay, and it lights that up for us. Now watch what happens. It changed, it says February 6, 1994. Okay. Now it'll be saved as a the last login was the 17th. Previous login was the 16th. And deleted at is going to remain blank because we don't want to change that. And it updated that for us. Now, what I've done is I've changed this up so I can see that number. There's the number that gets put in for the timestamp. But here's what it actually is. It lets us know that, hey, it was February 6, 1994 when she was born. Her last update and deleted at should not be set. It's not set, it's a null. However, so it'll show up as December 31, 1969, so, but it's not set. It's still null. It was created at September 6th, 2014, and updated today. So our behaviors are working just fine. Well, that's how you put that in there, but let's take a look at how did I get that well, I changed up the view a little bit. So I changed up the view to have a label called birthday, and then I changed its value to month, day, year to show a date, month, day, year, and a model is birthday. So it reads that in and it formats the timestamp to a human readable date format for us. Did the same thing down here for the last login, previous login, created at, updated at, and deleted at. Okay, so there you go. That's how we change that up. Now remember the form, we wanted to add back our deleted at. Now what you can do is you can copy this and add it to all your forms so that you have a soft delete now. If you do a hard delete, it'll give you a warning that you're doing a hard delete, and ask you if you want to proceed, and it will delete if you answer yes, of course, it'll go ahead and delete that whole record. But I like to use soft deletes. It's better that way. My database doesn't get corrupted, and this way I have the information is still in my database in case I want to go back and take a look at it. Okay. Well, that was fairly simple. Let's go ahead and take a look at something else here. Oh yes, I added another little extension just for me. This is make it easy for you guys to follow the GitHub site. So you can follow me on GitHub. I've already got a couple of followers here. Let's see. One guy from Turkey and someone on another team. Looks like from Russia maybe. Or from Eastern Europe. So I have a lot of folks from Eastern Europe. Hello all you Eastern Europe people. Glad you could join us. I have a number of followers from Eastern Europe. Okay, folks, that about does it for part 8. I'll get that up into the master ASAP on GitHub. So we'll see you next time for part number 9.